Hi, my name is Diana, and I recently started my small candle business here in Calgary. And I've been working on the digital course for candle making for beginners with all the topics on the wax, wigs, fragrance, some tips and tricks with links to all the supplies that I'm using. It's mainly links to Amazon or AliExpress or some suppliers that I'm using. So here in this video on YouTube, I'm going to just talk about tools and supplies that you might need if you start from zero and talk about everything, about a bit of everything, okay? Because some people have a wrong idea that you just need 50 bucks and you're good to go. Don't forget that, testing period, you'll use materials and you can't, you know, make money on that. You're just testing, right? So I wanted to help some beginners to give them an idea on what they need. Be helpful with some links, but in the course, I of course share more information and I share more links and stuff like that. Here in this video, I will show a little bit, and this will be like a little cut from my course with some important and helpful information. So yeah, I hope this will help you if you're just starting and have a better idea on how much you need to save up or invest to start something. Now we're going to talk about the fun stuff, about some supplies and materials that you need. I will add all the links that I can give you. You always, of course, test your own, search your own, but some names of the suppliers, especially if you're based in Canada or States. And I didn't mention that I work with a double boiler method, which means I'm not using a wax melter. Funny enough, in the very beginning, I bought a wax melter, but I bought a pretty big size. So I spent a lot of money. I also ordered it from the States, and I I waited and then I started testing and everything, and I understood that I'm making small batches, small loads, that it's really making my life harder than easier. And I just sold it pretty much new, so I lost money on it. But whatever, we learn. We live, we learn, we love, we love. In the future, I think I'll just find some on Amazon that is smaller, and for now I'm okay with a double boiler method. But because I'm using different color scents and stuff like that, I need many pictures and stuff like that. So I'll share with you the supplies that works for me. I'll make a list I have on my link tree. I have a list of the supplies that I get from Amazon and they work really well for me. I will also add the links. I'll go through my AliExpress purchases and I'll attach some links that of the molds if you're interested. Even though we're here speaking of basic candle making, we're not talking about detailed drink candles or desserty candles, but I still want to share with you some links that I have for molds and different shapes, pillar candles, things that I liked. Let's speak of the very, very basic necessities, just a list that you can write down of the things that you need to buy to make your first candles, and a little bit of the budget, how much it can cost you. Let's say you want to make your first candle and you will have only, let's say you have a specific one jar, because it's one type of the candle. You have one label that you will print yourself, or you will order it. But let's say you just order some labels, because then you need to figure out how to print it and stuff like that. Let's say I design in Photoshop, but if you don't know how to use Photoshop and you don't want to learn the platform, many people use Canva, so you can design there. And I'm not sure about subscriptions, but I think they have a free option to design some stuff. Very simple. And let's say you send it over and you print some labels, simple. Or buy a tiny, tiny printer that prints like black and white. I can find a link as well for some good ones. I've seen many people use that. I just wanted to have color ones, and I wanted to have a bigger size for different type of labels that I purchased myself. I will add all the links in different sections and categories that I can share with you in the file. So that will help you for sure. First, you need, of course, soy wax. So let's say soy or coconut wax, and you can start with the 3 kilograms. It will be from like 25 to $45. From again a candle supplier. This supplier based in BC, Canada. I'm buying from them, and of course, the shipment is kind of expensive. So when you decide to finally buy some supplies, please make a list, gather some things from there, and just try to buy a bunch of things at once, so it's kind of worth it for you to pay for shipment so much. Fragrance, I would recommend buying from 3 to 5 at once. And even for testing, even if you're just starting, and as minimum as 100 milliliters, let's say a bottle of fragrance oil with 100 milliliters, it will be around starting with the $10 to 14. So let's say round up to like 40 bucks. You'll need if you buy just 3 cents. Then some cotton wicks. You can buy a pack of 25. That goes usually as a minimum, to test, so you don't get disappointed, even though I would recommend buying some HTP type of wicks. And approximately a pack of 25 will cost you around 12 bucks for each. So I would again say buy 3 different wick types or wick sizes, for your candles. And yeah, I'm sure some of them will work for is wick stickers. You need like there's usually a big pack. They can sell like 200 or 1,000 of those, like around $10 for those. Also, wick centering tools. I don't have one yet, but you can find like pretty cheap one around $15. I would say it's all candle jars. Usually it will cost you from $2 to $8 per one. $8 is on kind of like a luxury side. Again, find on Amazon, or from a candle supplier. Sometimes there's big suppliers that you can order from in a big bulk, which I never did. I usually buy like a box of 12 or 15. That's pretty standard. The pack will cost you around $35 to $55, depending on the size of the jar. Again, pictures. I will add, as I said, I will add some wax melters that you can trust and you can try out, and they're budget friendly. But if you do just a double boiler method, you just need the pitchers. And let's say at least I think it's good to have 2 pitchers to start with. You can also purchase those on Amazon, and um, they will be approximately from $15 to $25 each. Another tool is that I love is a piston funnel. Even though it doesn't work sometimes good, because if you didn't clean it properly from the wax, it can like break. I mean, you can fix it, but it's gonna spill the wax everywhere. It happened to me twice so far, but it's okay. That will cost you around $25 to $30. I also have the link to my Amazon. I'm not sure, maybe it even costs right now like $20. I would love to have also more than one. The other one is thermometer. I personally have just a digital one. I also had the one you can, it's kind of like a one for cooking, I think for meat. They test, and that one broke pretty fast, but I bought the one off the Amazon, of the, no, I bought that one from the AliExpress. So many candle makers use those. I also will add some links, and there's those on Amazon as well. That will be around $10 to $15. One is a kitchen scale, of course, essential first of all for the wax measurements. You can again use it for measurements of the fragrance, but especially if you're using a tiny bit of your fragrance, it's better to just use the pipettes. That's another thing, that you will need a bunch of pipettes. I hope I say it properly, but there's many of them that are like very thin plastic ones. I use them all the time for the oils. I sometimes use them for making wax melts, but I figured that more reliable for the wax melts are the other ones that are thicker plastic, and the top thingy is like silicone. For those, I will also add the links. They're very important, and I'm not so sure. I think that would cost you, you need a bunch of them. For example, I'll need to buy this this plastic ones that I use for measuring oil. Like it's usually 100 of them or something, and I will need to buy more soon. It'll be around $20 for you as well. Sometimes, especially on Amazon, there's like kind of like a set. I was buying some, I think, donut wax melt shapes of the Amazon, and they had in the set the pipettes, like three or five of those. It's very useful that they had that as a set. Heat gun is a must. Some people say it's optional, and you can use like a hair dryer. I don't believe so. You need to have a specific tool that you will have in your office space, and you can mess with it. And heat gun should be strong, so you have like different temperature options. Mine is working perfect. I got it off the Amazon as well. I'll add the link as well. It's around $25 to $40 you will spend on that. Stirring spoon is better. The stainless steel spoon I personally stole from our bar setup. So they're long, and it's perfect for the tall pitchers that I have, and it's perfect to mix in the wax. It's easy to clean, so those are also essential. And that will be around $5 to $10. Warning labels as a must as well. You can also make those yourself, so you can make them a bit more custom, where you also say the fragrance on the back, or your logo in the back as well. And you can also get those off the candle making supplier that follow the standards of the warning labels, and you can also check the standards in the country where you live. The wick trimmer is also optional, but I have, and it's a lifesaver. I didn't have it in the very beginning, and this is a must, I think, especially if you work with the wood wicks, and it will be approximately $5 to $10 as well. Then the little wick sticks, or different, there's like a metal ones. You can center your wick while your candle is curing. It's also a very important tool. Sometimes people use like a little lawn stick, different tools that they, whatever they have at home, to center your wick while it's curing, so it doesn't move too far. But it's also essential. Third thing I talked slightly about is general labels. Again, you need to outsource it and find where you can print. You can design it yourself in Canva, let's say, free. I pay for Photoshop, so for Photoshop you still also include subscription. Also cost the money even for whatever you're doing. I personally believe it's better to, you know if you design it yourself, to have Photoshop. And you can also design their cards and different things for packaging you might need, different stickers. And for labels, it saves me a lot of, I would say, time, especially on the testing level, and especially if I need small batches. I bought my own labels from Avery Company, and I bought five different types, because I have different candles that I make, and I have wax melts, and it's different packaging. So I at least have five different styles of the labels, and those were around $150, I think, with shipment. And each had around 100 labels in the set. And then I also bought other from the Avery, but I ordered it from the Amazon, because you can find them on Amazon as well. And it sometimes ships faster, because you can have a warehouse with their stuff that is closer to you. Anyways, I ordered a few sizes of those. They're not glossy, they're just like a paper, and I put those on the boxes for the candles that I have. And another size that I think I haven't used yet. But yeah, it's a very important part that you don't forget about the labeling and whatever branding you're doing. Of course, if you don't think you can do it, you will need to find a designer or a person that will help you with that. But if you're beginning and you're trying to do everything yourself, then do it in Canva or Photoshop. And again, anyways, you will need a thermal printer, a small one, a budget one that you can get off Amazon, or you need a printer. Like I have a Canon printer that is very budget friend. I got it also on the Black Friday prices, and you'll need to buy, ink for that too, because it runs out of ink pretty quick. And let's say, if speaking of because this is not the whole list, okay, we need to touch on more if we're speaking right away of shipment, because it's not enough. Of course, if you work on the markets, maybe that's kind of enough, labels and warning labels, and the Kindle is ready to go. Speaking of markets, though, you might need, let's say, craft paper bags. You would want to have your stamp. For example, this stamp, surprisingly, I ordered off AliExpress. I was kind of worried, but it's a good quality. I love it. You can buy on Etsy as well, smaller business. And I ordered an ink pad separately too, and then I ordered an ink to fill up my ink pad for that. But it will last me a long time, though. Stamp will last me a long time. Ink will last me a long time. Ink pad. Sometimes it's good to have a small picture like this as well. In this one, I usually melt my gel wax, and this trimming tool is important as well. I have the link on the Amazon as well. Especially if you make like obviously pillar shaped candles, you want the even surface, you want to trim them perfectly. If there's anything, if you work with any shapes and molds, you will need this pinching tool. This has a little hole for the wick, um, to put it in there and poke the mold and put the wick in there. And this I got, I believe, from AliExpress. I'll find the link. Again, speaking of very basics of the branding, if you get the stamp, that's a very good idea for branding, and you have like a paper bags, that works for market. But besides, if you want to ship it, you need some shipment boxes, and usually, personally, I found some good boxes from Staples in Canada, and you need a bunch of those. Even to start with one size, let's say, it will cost you approximately maybe like $40 to start with. Again, you might need any ribbons if you want like a decorate cuter, or you want any wedding favors. That's not so necessary. It can be optional, depending on the style you're doing and stuff. I will add again different options for you to just bring you more ideas of what you can get on AliExpress or Amazon. For wax melts, I have different type of packaging. I have little craft bags that are, they don't fit so many wax melts, but they're good as a little gift, or add on to the candle. As well, I have different craft boxes that are a little transparent and fully closed, like with a lid. They're kind of like soup containers, but they're very cute for wax melts. Especially, I use them for the donuts or little flower wax melts. So obviously, we're speaking here of, I'm speaking of wax melts and different, all those boxes. There's for like I have strawberry candles and many many different things. I'll show you examples, but you don't need this for the start. It's just to give you ideas if you want to work on something, and just help you with the link. Of course, in the beginning, if you focus on like a small selection, a small collection, you don't need all of those things. You don't even need to buy color dyes if you're just making, a pure, um, use a pure wax. Also, I think important to talk about that you will still need some boxes for organizing, especially in my case, if I'm using different fragrances, colors, shapes, all that stuff. I have many different boxes, but mainly I found them on in Dollarama. So they have so many options that it's just like something that, can help you. I'm pretty sure I spent on like boxes and organizing stuff, beans and stuff. I think I spent around, it's on the boxes, probably like almost $100. I don't even have a proper track on it, which is my mistake, because I track my expenses, but I lost many receipts, so I can't even properly track and proof. So I don't include some stuff, and I lose some money again. Make my mistakes, please. And I don't know what start you have. For example, when I started, I had this desk which was my just general office desk, but to work on candles I purchased different shelves on marketplace or IKEA, but I spent around $200 on the shelves that I have. And I have a little kitchen island that I found on marketplace as well, where I was pouring candles before. Now I do it on this I spend on molds. I don't even know how much. Again, I track expenses, but I have like the different sections, and altogether, I'm not sure how much because I also do eco resin decor, trays, different stuff. So I have molds for those. I even have molds that I haven't tried yet, for also some seasonal candles, for example, for fall. And I'm very excited to work on those in the future, approaching fall. And of course, as a candle maker, you need to work on all the collections way before you release them. So I would need more fragrances for those too. So let's say if you want any kind of molds, that would be around, you can spend around $100 on those to start with. You don't have to. It's just if you want to have fun with those, if you want to have fun wax melts, but you can also have simple wax melts, a simple shape, and no color dye, pure wax and fragrance. If you want any kind of boxes without design, just a simple plain boxes that you can put stickers on, though, that's the good solution, stickers or labels you can put on the boxes, which makes it more special. But for the plain boxes, that will be just for your candle, for packaging, to make experience more interesting. It will be also like from $30 to $40. Of course, if you do it with a design, it will be more expensive. I'm speaking of the set of like 100. I almost forgot one of the most essential things for candle making as well is alcohol spray to sanitize the glass before you pour the wax and put the wick in there. It will last you a long time, so it will be approximately $20, but it will last you a long time. Speaking of shipment and packaging again, you will need for safety some, let's say, packing peanuts. I bought a box that will last me for a while, but it's like $50, let's say. Or you can buy find in bulk good, or you can put like a just a paper to make it more safe. And you would need some tissue paper, comb paper. All that will be around, let's say, packing peanuts will be around $50. If you don't want those, you just use craft paper. Head into the candle making. If you want to experiment and do, like desserty candles, you will for sure need some color dyes, and you can pick the liquid or like chips, and let's say from $20 to $60 you will need. As well as for the shipment, you might need the crinkle paper and tape. I would say fragile tape is pretty good, but it's up to you. You can have just like a simple tape. Some people have tape with their design, with their branding. You don't have to, but if you're using Shopify or Etsy, you might want to use some advertisement. You for sure will have Instagram, right? So you might need to advertise some of the posts. Again, you can do it without it. I did a little bit of ads on Instagram. Maybe in total I spent around $100, but let's say if you run it for a few days, you might spend like $40, and it's just little bit of traffic. But still, in this nowadays, like it's so competitive that it's still a good tool. In marketing, you will for sure need some. Also, if let's say you use Shopify, it will be some monthly membership. If you're using Etsy, it will be fees per listings, and then there's fees that are on shipment. Even if the person that buys your product pays for shipment, you still lose on shipment as well. It's never free for you. So that's something to consider. So even if you're just starting and you're starting small, it's good to have some insurance. Many of them are like, let's say, $20 to $40 per month, just to be safe, especially if you're working with candles. Then you might need licensing as well, but you need to check where you live, and it's often per year or maybe monthly. And you might want to register your name where you live. Again, you need to check the rules and everything, but it's not like a name that nobody else can use. It's just that you register this as a business name, and usually it's from $50 to $100. It's not so expensive. If we're speaking about everything in a little bit, but of course, you can spend. There's I give you kind of like an idea of more budget option and a little bit more depending on what kind of candles you want to make. I hope this was a little bit helpful for you and you'll have some better ideas. And I will mention links for everything. Of course, you need to do your own research, but yeah, that's it.